Testing, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, testing. Hello, hello, hello. Um, Hello, everybody in advance. Obviously, me again, Moreno Ravenberg. Um, Hold on, I need to test my own thingy, my own stream to see if everything is going well. Uh, yeah, I know I have mail. Let me see. Testing, blah blah blah. Testing, blah blah blah. Yeah, I know I have mail. Let me see. Testing. Okay, yeah. Everything is all good. We're good to go. Go away, go away. Give me a second. As usual, everything needs to be open. Yeah, hi David. I'm sorry, people can't hear me properly. Yeah, yeah. As usual, for minimal graininess, the windows and everything need to be open. Yeah, hi David Bradshaw. Um, I hope that people aren't too busy, but it doesn't matter either way. So yeah, let me start off. I don't know if I should wait for more people. I'm seeing 4 people watch this, but I'm not going to. I'm not going to wait up. There's no need to. Just give me a moment. Yeah, you can see from the header what the thing is gonna be about. What the um, what the subject is going to be about regarding this live stream. Damn it. Give me a moment. Yeah, Starlight, hello. Hello to you too. Um, yeah, right before I thingy this live stream, I started this live stream. I uploaded a video to showcase the results of my training and how good physical exercise is. Gigi says morning Moreno. Yes, good morning. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, regardless of where you are in the world. Now, so yeah, let's get started with the subject at hand. The importance of trauma, the importance of mental health, and yeah, this live stream is overall is about trauma, dealing and coping with it. Something that a lot of people do not take into account is how important it is to thingy trauma, to process trauma, and to heal from it. Otherwise, you're going to be in trouble, and it's going to severely impact your entire life. People are allowed to ask miscellaneous questions in between if you by coincidence had anything on your mind. Viewers and or contributors in the comment section. So yeah, we'll see how long this live stream lasts. I don't think this one is going to last as long as the prior one, but it does not matter. Anyways, yeah. In relation to trauma, it's like it's like having a broken leg, okay, and your leg never heals. You can imagine what it's going to be like. Your leg is broken, and how it. Just imagine going through life with a broken leg. You can't run, you can't walk. You want to go to work, it's going to be hard. You want to move around the house, it's going to be hard. Sleeping is going to be hard. It's the simplest of things. Life is just going to be one big burden if you're impaired like that. The same way, if you're mentally impaired, if you're in a bad place mentally, or you're compromised some way, shape, or form, regardless of the reason, you're traumatized, then you can imagine life is going to be the biggest burden you can possibly imagine, and then some. Life is going to be ridiculously hard to go through, and things are going to keep going horrendously bad for you in life, based on the simple law of attraction, which I have already covered on my website as well as my YouTube channel. It it's like walking on with the it's like going through life with the biggest chip on your shoulder. Yeah, good morning, YRSBK. Yeah, it's like going through life with the biggest chip on your shoulder. And you can possibly imagine. And again, based on the plain and simple law of attraction, um, you're going to attract a lot of negativity to you, and it's just going to turn into one big shit fuckery of negativity, one big cobweb of negativity. Um, yeah, so definitely not good. Um, Another example I can give is that it's like having little baggage on your shoulders, and you go through life with that baggage. You had to climb Mount Everest, you already did so, and yet you still keep carrying that mountain climber's bag with you everywhere you go. You're not going to be able to function normally in life. So, yeah, and life is going to just be that. It's going to be one big burden. So, again, the importance of mental health and of processing, healing from, and processing trauma cannot be overstated. It's a vital important, the same way that you're physically healthy, you can do everything, you can move all of your limbs, all of your muscles, everything. Okay, you're capable of functioning. In that same context, if you're mentally impaired or incapacitated in any way, shape, or form, whether it be partially or fully or anywhere in between, again, you're going to have difficulty getting by in life. Life is just going, you're just going to go through life being able to only do the absolute minimal of things, and that's it. Sometimes not even that. You're going to be reduced to living like an animal or like an outright vegetable. And you tell me if life is worth living in that context. Of course, it's not. Um, and yeah, what else was I gonna say? It, of course, for the average person, it's a lot easier said than done because all, if not most people, have no idea how to process trauma, how to heal from it, how to recover from it, and on rare occasion, you'll have individuals that essentially wallow in misery, and it's like they enjoy all the negativity and all the trauma. People that are inherently evil, in a matter of speaking, or malevolent, they just enjoy being mired in the piss and shit that is their existence rather than focusing on healing and whatnot. YRSBK says, thank you for your content, brother. We appreciate you and your mentorship. Yeah, no problem. So, yeah, basics. First step is acknowledgement. You need to be able to acknowledge that something's wrong with you. No one chooses negativity in general. So, again, most people that are traumatized or mentally impaired in some way, shape, or form, they, again, you don't choose any of this. Most people, they grow up, they come from bad household, horrific households, even that is the root cause or source of their trauma, and they end up being mentally damaged as a result when they throughout their entire lives all the way into adulthood. And again, the first thing you need to do is acknowledge that no one chooses pain and misery. That would indicate that free will exists, and obviously that's not the case. If people could choose, they had the freedom of choice in the sense of being able to choose what they were or who they were. Everybody would be like on top of their game. The world would be filled with champions, so to speak. But that's obviously not the case, and that's obviously not the case. And people are subject, just like everyone else, people are subject to, including me obviously, but with me it's like it's obviously different. People are subject to the rules and regulations that God has put forth in the world, in every sense of the word, so obviously including spiritually. um Now, just a sideline, YRSBK says, do you ever contact the spirit that was haunting you when you were a kid? Yeah. Michael. I already covered him in a YouTube video. Uh, that same Michael, he serves me now. Okay, an infernal spirit called Michael. That's just a sideline. Anyways, you can look for it on my YouTube channel. Anyways, continuing. Yeah, you're subject to all of this. That's why. And like I said, most people, all of their trauma and mental baggage stems from their childhood. The environment they grew up in, they grew up around, it shapes who they are as people. Um, for the plain and simple rule that when you grow up, you spiritually and physically form yourself or you come into being. And you can imagine someone that grows up around toxicity will themselves 99 out of 100 times be a toxic person. They themselves will become or turn into a toxic person. And as a result, you see them as an adult and they're literally just what they are or who they are. It's a reference to the plain and simple saying of the same tree, same apple. If the tree is is dilapidated and toxic, the chance of the apple being not being the same is very, very low. There are exceptions, obviously, but again, these are just standard exceptions. Um, so yeah, the importance can't be overstated of trauma, of healing from trauma, processing trauma, and mental health. You'll see that when you're mentally healthy, you attract nothing but good things to you. You attract nothing but just plain good things based on the law of attraction. You attract benefits to you. You attract good things will be happening to you, and life will actually be a joy. Life will be pleasurable rather than the other way around, which is nothing but pain and misery and all of that. Blah 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 blah. And yeah, see the article linked to the description of this live stream for my article on how to deal with trauma, how to cope from trauma, and how to process it, etc., etc. Simplistic things or simple things you can do. All the YouTube videos embedded therein on how you can heal from trauma. But the plain and simple, the simplest way is to essentially acknowledge it. Just like I said, you need to acknowledge that something's wrong with you, and you need to look at it from every imaginable angle, and you need to keep playing those scenarios or that scenario in your head, and you'll see that when you do so, then you'll automatically process it. And when you process it, you need to keep going to the point where it doesn't bother you anymore. And once it doesn't bother you anymore, then that means that you've healed from it. You're no longer a victim of your thoughts, but you're the one in absolute control. That's what it's about. You're no longer a victim of conditions and circumstances that essentially are responsible for your negative state of mind. You are in control of your thoughts and your emotions and your life overall, and you're no longer a victim being bossed around by those same haunting negative thoughts. Again, everything, it doesn't matter how horrific whatever negativity you went through in your life, how what kind of horrific shit you went through in your life, it's all up here, and all of it can be overcome. Because if you don't overcome it, then you're going to spend the rest of your life, or at the very least the majority of your life, living that nightmare. And again, your very well-being and any chance you have at happiness dependent is wholly or fully dependent on that, or at least partially dependent on that. If you want to be happy in life, you really need to get rid of any baggage, any mental baggage you have, sow any oats you have to sow, and be able to literally just openly talk about whatever negativity befell you. Again, another example, if you were hit by a car, do you want your gravestone to read, man that was hit by car, your name, and then man that was hit by car? Do you want to spend your entire life just thinking about how a car hit you, how horrible it was, how your bones were broken, and how you had to spend like 2 months in the hospital recovering, etc.? No, it's an event that happened to you. It doesn't matter whether you were hit by a car 10, 20 times. My point is that those negative events, they don't define you unless you allow it to define you. You need to simply think about how that car hit you, why it happened, in every imaginable way that it happened, all the implications involved, until you literally just let go of the thought. It happened to you, you deal with it, okay, you process it. And once you'll notice that once you've thought about it, you've thought every question that you had to ask about why it happened to you, you replayed it in your head to the point where you got tired of the memory. Then you'll notice that it doesn't bother you anymore. And that means that you've officially recovered from trauma. You've officially healed from trauma. You can easily go into a car. You can make a joke about getting hit by a car. It doesn't bother you. It doesn't phase you. Obviously, you shouldn't make a joke about something like that because it's distasteful. But my point is, even if someone is around you and makes a joke about getting hit by a car, it's not going to bother you. But one of the stereotypical trademarks of trauma is that when someone says something, it's like a trigger word or a trigger sentence. You automatically get flashbacks and you just flip out, No, you shouldn't flip out like that. That means that you're traumatized. If someone is around you, like it's 10 years later, and someone makes a joke about, I don't want to cross the street because I'm afraid that a fucking car might hit me and they'll find my fucking skull left and my ass right, you'll immediately start feeling uneasy. It's like you have a panic attack. No, that's not supposed to happen. That means that you never recovered from that trauma. The second you, for example, hear a car, teet, teet, you immediately like freeze up. No, that means that you're not healed from your trauma. You're still traumatized by that car hitting you, and you shouldn't be. You should be able to easily get into a car. You should easily be able to see a picture or look at a picture of for example, car crash victims, how they're completely mangled, and it should not affect you. But if it does, then it means that you're still traumatized, and it's not going to go away by itself. The same way that a computer virus on a computer doesn't just go away by itself. The virus isn't going to say, "Oh, okay, I'm fed up with Moreno. I'm no longer going to, I'm bored with Moreno's computer. I'm no longer going to, I'm just fed up with it. I'll just go somewhere else. I'm just going to leave this computer." No, the virus is going to be there. You can come back in 10 years, 20 years, 50 years. The virus is still going to be there. And that same concept, trauma does not go away unless it's addressed. You need to be able to do this, okay? Otherwise, it's, again, like the broken leg. Your leg isn't going to magically heal itself. If your bones are dislocated and your leg is going like this, no, it's not going to go away. You need to address that. In order for your leg to heal up normally, you need to address it. Otherwise, it's going to stay like that your entire life, and you're going to walk with a gimp leg, and you're not going to be able to walk at all, even let alone run or do anything else meaningfully. So yeah, all of this stuff is definitely something you need to keep in mind. YRSBK says, has a spirit ever tried to possess you? No. No, that's just a sideline question. Plain and simple, no. So yeah, that is what you need to keep in mind in relation to trauma. You need to be able to talk about it, process it, etc., etc. Just goes on. If you were raped, you're a woman, you were raped. You need to be able to acknowledge that you were raped, but not just hide like a bitch. Yeah, because what do you think is going to happen? You're going to go through life, and it's literally going to impact you negatively, because that trauma is like a chip on your shoulder, and you won't be able to do certain things in life. The second you see any kind of sexual activity, you see like a porno movie or something, you see a porno or a porn movie, anything like that, you're immediately going to be traumatized. You're just going to be, not to mention the fact that you're not going to be able to enjoy sex or anything like that. The second any hint of sexual activity is present, you're immediately going to like freeze up. If a guy, for example, even by accident, if someone like grabs your breast, or just by accident their hand hits your boob, if you're a woman, you're immediately going to go like this. That's not normal. Okay, you're immediately going to flinch. That's not normal. So it's going to severely impact you. You need to process it. You need to acknowledge it as in, hey, I was raped. Ask any question you want, while all the while replaying that thing in your mind, as in, this is what happened. This is what the guy looked like that raped me. That's why it happened. Any questions you have, you need to keep replaying it in your head. Why did it happen? How did it happen? When did it happen? Why did something like that happen to me? I can't control it. If you can't answer your questions, then seek therapy. Someone where you can literally just let go unrestrictedly, uninhibitedly. It doesn't matter, even if you have, all of a sudden you have fantasies about being raped. You need to be able to talk to that about a therapist, or you at least need to talk to someone that has a listening ear. Okay, someone that is a listening ear, or represents that. Even if you need to make a diary about it, you literally record it on your phone and you listen back to all the stuff you said. You literally just completely let loose. If you're afraid of being judged, even if you need to start a diary, you write in your diary that, hey, pop, 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 this is what happened, etc. Everything, every fantasy, it doesn't matter how sick twisted it is, how horrific it is, it does not matter. Even if you notice that, for example, because you were raped, all of a sudden you can't like go to the bathroom, because when when having to, go, reminds you of the rape because it felt the same way. You need to be able to openly come to terms with all of that, and you need to keep putting it in front of your face. You need to keep rubbing your face into it, and then you can come to terms with it as an, okay, this is what happened. That's what happened. Until you have no questions, until you're completely empty. And you'll see that when that is the case, then it doesn't bother you anymore, because you're no longer a victim. You overcame all of that trauma. It doesn't bother you anymore if someone, you can have sex normally. If someone talks about if someone talks about rape in any way, shape, or form. If you see a movie in which a woman is being raped, it's not going to bother you anymore because you overcame all of it. You can easily say, I was raped, end of story. You overcame all of it. It doesn't define you, it doesn't define who you are as a human being. Tomorrow or the day after tomorrow, something else is going to happen to you. And are you going to let that define you? No. That's my point exactly. You need to deal with all of that. Of course, easier said than done, but you have to for your own well-being. Your well-being is on the line. Um, Another example I can give, the finest example I can give, is from a woman called hold on, it's called Annika Lucas. She is a hold on. Yes, a stupid website open. Yeah, I'm gonna put the link in the thingy in the chat section. Yeah, morning. Buenas mañanas, Azul Arcangelo, Blue Archangel. Yeah, this is the link. Link is called anti-slavery, blah 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 blah. Okay, long story short, this is about a woman called Annika Lucas. She's Belgian. I can tell she's from the Dutch section of the Netherlands. I mean, of Belgium. Um, and the name alone already gives that away, let alone the appearance. I recognize people globally, especially Europeans, based on who I am and whatnot. So everything, their characteristics, physical body traits, and whatnot. I can easily like distinguish. So yeah, her name, yeah, she's Belgian. She was born in Belgium, and her name in Dutch is pronounced Anneke Lucas. Um, Long story short, her mother was like a prostitute or something, or someone that had affiliations with a pedophile sex ring and whatnot, and her mother essentially sold her essentially into slavery since she was a little girl, since she was born virtually. And obviously, needless to say, she's completely traumatized. She was abused relentlessly. She was treated like some kind of object um, for individuals of as let's just say corrupt politicians. Her story speaks for itself in that link. And a bunch of horrific stuff happened to her. Hold on, let me narrate. I'm not going to narrate everything, but just the most important parts. Annika was sold by her mother as a child sex slave to a pedophile network. She was raped daily by older men, many of them prominent Belgian politicians, until she was 11 years old. At 11, when she was considered no longer useful, she was tortured to be killed. She was saved from death by a man negotiating with the politician in charge of the network. And then she talks about her experience of therapy to work through her experiences of trauma. And yeah, that's essentially the summary of her story. And of course, she didn't function at all well. During the week I went to school, I was a shy girl with very few friends. Um, the teacher once had been calling out to me, and I was too spaced out to hear. She wondered out loud if I knew the answer to the question she had asked, and I sat there in embarrassing silence while the class laughed. And it just goes on. Um, let me see. Uh, and yeah, she was she was literally made to eat feces under the threat of death and or torture or even more torture. She literally was forced to eat human feces. So yeah, that's pretty much horrific. I mean, you can make a joke. Just thinking about it makes me want to puke. Not to mention the fact that I saw this, believe me, because with someone else, I mind dove into her case and I saw everything. Oh boy, when I said activate smell, I actually smelled everything, and I was just like, God, I felt my stomach hurt. I was like, oh boy. Okay, oh boy. Anyways, and you can tell just by looking at her. Hold on, I'm going to show you guys a picture of her, Annika Lucas, what she looks like. Again, I'm only using this as an example, and you'll see what she looks like. I mean, when you look at her, when you just look at her, it's obvious. I mean, how horrific she looks. Just one look at this woman, and I can immediately tell, yeah. God damn it. The thing is too long. The link is too long. Hold on, give me a second. Oh, no, no, no. I need a link with a shorter thing. Damn it. Yeah, this is better. This link will work. Yeah, that's what she looks like. She also practices yoga because she saw the healing benefits of anything esoteric. But of course, yoga is a drop in a bucket, not a drop in a bucket, a drop in a freaking sea, in a lake. That is the trauma of her. Anyways, yeah, she was made to eat feces, etc. It just goes on. And yeah, last snippet that I'm going to read from this. This is like when she was an adult. In 1988, when I was 25 years old, I was walking downtown Los Angeles near Skid Row. I got a faint, specific whiff of human feces and was assaulted with the memory of the extreme humiliation I had suffered as a child. My instant thought was, if this is true, I'm going to kill myself. I was too identified with the experience and the shame was too great. I wasn't ready and pushed the memory back into the subconscious. It would take several more years, many more hours of therapy to finally share this memory with one safe person. Yeah, so yeah, you heard it. See what I mean? My point exactly. So, bluntly put, anytime this woman smells human shit, it's like, "Ah!" So, if, let's just say, if I was around and I simply made a joke with someone else, man, eat shit. If she hears the phrase eat shit, she literally loses her mind. See what I mean? Because she's traumatized. She hasn't processed any of it. And I mean, I applaud the fact that she easily just talks about it and that she advocates for women's rights and all of that. But the one thing this woman is doing wrong is Azul Arcangelo says, how does she go to the bathroom? Yeah, my point exactly. You know, even going to the bathroom is a challenge for her. See, my point exactly. Um, it's just, again, what this woman is doing wrong is that she literally takes those events, those horrific events that happened to her, and she turns it into her identity. So hypothetically speaking or metaphorically speaking, her gravestone will read, "Here lies Annika Lucas, child trafficking or sex trafficking victim." Do you want to be remembered like that if you were her? Would you want to be remembered like that, people that are watching this? No, exactly not. My point is, you shouldn't let shit that happened to you define who you are. I already did a separate video on this, albeit a short video, hence me doing the live stream now. And I didn't give her as an example. She is an example. I already spoke to this with someone else, or spoke about this to someone else. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether you were raped, you were made to eat shit, you were held at gunpoint, your legs were broken, this and that, it did, it did, it did, it did, it did. Okay. My point is, if you do not heal from this, if you do not come to terms with this, you do not process all of this negativity, any hope you want of being able to lead a normal life, of being able to just be happy and to lead a happy life for the rest, will immediately go out the window. Any hope you have or hope you want of being able to go through life as a normal person, it just evaporates into thin air because you literally allow, inadvertently, obviously it's not your fault, but you, metaphorically speaking, allow these negative experiences to make you who you are, to essentially to turn into you allow it to become you, to essentially be your identity. In her case, for example, if she could afford me, I can easily heal her. I can heal her. I can explain to her how to heal herself, or I can literally just do this, my thing. I just do my hocus pocus book, and she'll be healed from everything. And she will not look the way she does. But when you look at that picture of her, you see the pain in her eyes. You literally see someone that's completely broken mentally, someone that's just utterly, utterly destroyed, someone that just, someone that literally walks around with trauma like the biggest chip on their shoulder ever. And that's exactly the point that I'm making. In this picture, for example, you can see the pain in her eyes, even her facial expressions, everything, even her body. When you look at her, for example, her neck all the way to her face, you can clearly see the pain. All of that, the reason she does not look that good is because all the negative, all the mental pain, all the pain and suffering, it essentially manifests materially. The same way I shown you guys how I used to look like shit back in the day, no pun intended, how horrible I used to look. That's because of all the negative energy. All that energy will automatically have a physical, it will shape you physically as well. And that's why she does not look good. Okay. She tries to smile in that picture, but it's a fake smile. It's like when you're like, it's like a painful smile. It's like when your house burned down and someone's about to take a picture, like a group photo. Everybody smile. And before, just at that moment, right before the person said that, someone called you, your house burned down. What? Everybody smile, say cheese. That's what you're going to do. Because if you're not smiling in actuality, on the inside, you're screaming bloody murder. My point exactly. In her case, she's the finest example. She can advocate for everything, but my point is, all the stuff that happened to you, you tell your story, you're done. Anybody that wants to use it for referential purposes, they use it. End of story. By placing it publicly online, you inadvertently give people permission to do that. Fine. You use yourself as a cautionary tale and you advocate for women's rights, as in, hey, listen, the shit that happened to me, it shouldn't happen to anyone else. Do everything in your power to see to it that it does not happen to anyone else. No problemo. But in her case, like I said, she just keeps walking around with that chip on her shoulder, and she allows it to identify. She allows it to essentially be who she is. So instead of just looking at her, okay, Anna Kaluka's woman. Any person that looks at her is like, okay, Anna Kaluka's, child sex trafficking victim, woman that was forced to eat shit, the shit eater. Do you want to be remembered as a shit eater? No. Doesn't matter what kind of crap happened to you. No pun intended again. Doesn't matter what happened to you. You need to be able to deal with this. Nicholas Abdul Hamid says, yeah, hi, Nicholas. Welcome. As always, and as usual. Yeah. No, you should literally just process all of that. In her case, like I said, if she came to me and she wanted to process it, she'd do it herself, you name it. Bottom line is that, yeah, she can afford me, for example, but she can't afford me all too much to the point where I can just do this. Oh, okay, you're healed. Problem solved. She essentially has to work through it herself. She has to do the heavy lifting, so to speak. Yeah, I would tell her the exact same things that I'm saying in this live stream. I would tell her, you need to keep replaying it. Any questions you have, it's like therapy. I would say, okay, ask any questions you have. I'll ask any other questions. This happened to you. Why did it happen to you? They made you eat shit. Okay. What did they do? Did they point a gun at your head? Did they force you, etc.? What thoughts do you have? She needs to keep asking every thought, every statement she makes, etc., until she's completely empty. She's devoid of emotion. She's done. I'm gonna be like, yeah, you feel better now, don't you? And she's gonna say, yeah, I feel like so much better now. It's like a huge weight has been lifting off my shoulders. Yes, because the same weight that you've been walking around with your entire life, it's healed. Problem solved. Now, when I say eat shit, you're not gonna feel uneasy. You're just gonna be like, exactly. Now you can go through life normally, and you'll see that you can actually be happy. Things that happened to you in the past, they don't define who you are. It's just that it's an event. It's like by accident getting your leg hit, or by accident having your hand slammed into a table. You're like, ow, okay. You go to the hospital, they fix you up, problem solved. Um, yeah, but instead she does that. You know, I could guarantee you, if she came to me for help, she would not look like that. She would literally look like a beautiful woman, and you would never even guess that she has been through all of that shit. But like I said, the importance of dealing with trauma, dealing with mental damage, and the importance of mental health cannot be overstated. But ask this woman if she's legitimately happy. If you ask Annika if she's happy, you're going to get that same fake smile. Yes, I'm happy. Yeah, everything is fine. I'm like, yeah, sure you are. Okay, sure you are. The second I start making jokes about eating shit, as in, God, I'm so hungry I could eat shit even. She's immediately going to be like, okay, I need to go. I mean, come on, seriously. Yes, you're not healed from your trauma. You're completely broken and you're going to die broken. A broken soul, so to speak. But again, if you do not address this issue, you need to address this shit. You need to come to terms with this. Yeah. And this is an example. I mean, in her case, obviously nothing. It's not her fault, obviously, nothing, no control. She was born, and all of a sudden, she literally has this crap thrown in front of her face, this shit shoved in her face. Her mother is just an outright abomination for selling your own child into sex slavery. You shouldn't even have kids to begin with. But yeah, we live in the real world. And in the real world, you have a lot of negativity, unfortunately. But my point is, for your own well-being, this negativity needs to be addressed. But arguably, the biggest problem the world has at a spiritual level is that obviously there is no proper help for people, no adequate help for people that suffer from any kind of mental affliction. The only thing that, since the medical world can't cope with it, the only thing they can do is just pump people full of drugs and put them on so-called happy pills to essentially neutralize their base senses, which makes them a bit more docile. But you know, the society globally has been good at healing any kind of physical affliction, but obviously the reason for mental afflictions not being able to be healed is because the world is too materialistically inclined. The majority of people in the world, they walk around not knowing how the world works, and they have this idiotic notion that all you can see, that what you see, hear, and feel is all there is to the world. As in, oh, okay, this is all there is to it. What you can see, hear, and feel, that's all. When it's the exact opposite, but they're too stupid and too ignorant. So a lot of people in the world walk around with all their traumas, all of their negative, all of their damage, mental damage, all of their negativity, and it just never goes away. And obviously, with all the negative consequences, because usually, unfortunately, these people are so stupid to the point where they have children, and not just a couple, they have a good amount of children, and the cycle of worthlessness just continues. These children end up being mentally damaged and whatnot, and very few make it out alive, so to speak. Very few make it out alive in the sense that they're mentally healthy, and that they and that they essentially find, they see the light, or they find the light, they see salvation, and they actually reach a point of happiness. um, Instead, they just wallow in misery, and as a result, you have a good deal of mentally disturbed and damaged individuals left, right, and center in the world. Because, like I said, that damage does not go away by itself. The saying "time heals all wounds" applies to physical wounds, definitely not to mental wounds. I'm not talking about something as simple as someone breaking up with you, being out of a bad relationship. Yeah, time heals all wounds. Even then, it only does so partially. But my point is, superficial mental afflictions are not the subject here. We're talking about serious stuff that happened to you. The same way that you can say time heals all wounds, yes. Like if you scratch your hand by accident and it has a small flesh wound, yeah, that wound will heal. But if you get hit by a car and your collarbone is broken, that's not going to heal by itself. 50 fucking years can pass and it's not going to heal. You're going to end up being like this, and you're going to keep walking like this. No, no, no. Um, So no, in that context, time does not heal all wounds, let alone serious, heavy-handed spiritual damage that causes trauma and whatnot. Nope. So yeah, definitely. I mean, if someone seriously punches you spiritually in the face, that damage is not going to go away by itself. You can be 50 years old, that damage will stay there. Okay. Yeah, a lot of people walk around being completely mentally damaged, and it severely impacts their life in certain sections. Like I said, the second they hear a trigger phrase or a trigger word, they immediately start losing it. And yeah, they just die like that, being completely damaged. If the world essentially followed, if the majority of people out there followed my advice and made serious efforts into addressing these issues, then you would see that a lot of people would be genuinely happy and the world would be a much better place. But like I said, the biggest problem is that there is no mental health directly for people that there's no adequate mental health for people that actually want it, coupled with the fact that the majority of people have no idea where to look for mental health. They have no idea what to do. They just they have no idea, and generally speaking, can't generally speaking can't afford it, because the most mentally damaged people, as a result of that mental damage, they're not doing well financially. So they simply can't deal with it. And what's even worse is that some of them deserve it, because rather than actually, the same way that you were to go to a hospital, your leg is broken in 5 places. It doesn't matter whether the bill is $25,000. You will pay it because you can't walk around with a broken leg. You know that. With the metaphorically speaking broken soul, you can't walk around. And yet, people, a good deal of people, unfortunately, they they're not willing to essentially even spend 10% of that amount on their own mental well-being. It's also very complicated. It's not a black and white issue, but that's generally speaking the gist of it. These are honestly people that they do not deserve help. There are unfortunately people in the world, or what are supposed to be people, that do not deserve help. Okay, they are miserable and they deserve to be miserable because rather than address their issues in a correct and appropriate manner, they try to weasel their way through. They try to weasel their way to help. But of course, thank goodness that not everyone is like that, and there are people that genuinely want to help themselves, and they can. Okay, and I, for example, really enjoy helping those people. It's like someone that deserves to be helped, someone that understands, that gets it, someone that understands that, hey, yeah, I really want to help myself. I I'll put in the effort. I don't care if I have to spend 50K. I spend 50K, and they do so, and then I enjoy helping those people. And the benefit is that those people, the second they come into contact with mental health and whatnot, and 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 they actually get a taste of what it's like to be normal and how to be normal, let alone prosper. They keep wanting more. That's the good thing about generally speaking mental health and prosperity and divine power. When you come into contact with genuine goodness, oh, it's like an addiction. You'll keep wanting more. Like it's like the biggest and best orgasm you've ever had, and you'll keep wanting more. You're like, yeah, I want more. I want more. I want more. You know. And I enjoy helping people like that. These people are worthy of my help. But unfortunately, yeah, sad to say, the statistical majority, it's a different matter with them. Let me see. Let me address some questions. I mean, some statements. Nicolas says it would be very interesting if you would delve into her mind, and yeah, what happened to her is very sad. Yeah, I think you joined too late. Like I said, I only uttered one sentence, but I dove into her mind. The Anna Kaluka situation. I brought someone else with me. I was like, hey, let's mind delve again. Hold my hand. Let's check out this girl, Annika Lucas, and we saw everything. I was like, saw how she was literally forced to eat shit and everything. I was like, oh god. Let alone when I said activate smell, I was like, okay, activate smell. Oh, I was like, yeah, those are human feces, or that's human shit. Animal shit doesn't nearly smell as bad, but I can immediately recognize the smell that it's from a human being. And I saw how she was forced to eat shit and then she puked it up again. Ugh. I was like, oh boy. Okay, deactivate smell. Oh. Just thinking about it. When I think back about it, oh boy, my stomach hurts. I saw everything. I saw how she was chained up, all of it. I was like, oh, okay, we're done. Uh, YRSBK says they say you shouldn't interfere with people's karma because their karma could stick to you. No, not really. It purely depends on the individual, but generally speaking, karma doesn't stick to you. Karma is purely focused on the individual in question. Any karma that you experience as a result of helping someone else with their karma or interfering with their karma is individualistic karma itself, as in you shouldn't have done that. You should have minded your own business, or the person deserves to have happened what happened to them, and you're going to get indirectly punished as a result. But again, like I said, this is very rare, honestly. Not unique, but still rare. And obviously something like that within a specific context would never happen to me, so I'm not worried about any of it. Griffith says so through. Adam Mohammed says, hey Moreno, this is the same Adam from last live stream. How are you? Yeah, hi. How are you? I'm assuming that this is a different account, Adam, because you're also using your last name here, I'm assuming. I remember you just use Adam. You generally speaking just use the plain and simple Adam account. Um, so yeah, does anybody have any questions in relations to different account? Yeah, I thought so. Does anybody have any questions in relation to the subject of this video, of this live stream, or any question overall? Like I said, miscellaneous questions are also you're also allowed to ask any miscellaneous questions, but the main subject of this video is mental health, obviously. Adam says, "Oh, I have questions unrelated to the subject. If you don't mind, yeah, go ahead. Like I said, I don't mind. I don't mind. Go ahead. Any questions you want to ask, you're more than welcome to ask them. It's not an issue." Uh, the attendance is high for today's live stream. 17 people are watching this live stream. ah, okay. So yeah, go ahead, Adam. You can, as well as anybody else, you can ask your questions, whether it be related to the subject of this video or unrelated. I'm good either way. Uh, yeah. Um, remember what we talked about last time about angels coming only from God? I heard many occultists say that angels come from the source, and you asked me to define what that is. An occultist named Water Alchemist was saying that pagan gods have angels like Odin and Kali. Oh my. And not all were created by Jehovah. Listen, no offense, but these people are fucking idiots. What are supposed to be people? Seriously? A pagan god is literally a thought form, inadvertently, generally speaking, created by sheer coincidence by a tribe of people. By a tribe of people. As in, they needed an explanation. They saw lightning and thunder, and they were like, oh, there has to be a higher being that's responsible for lightning and thunder. There has to be some god. And then they came up with that. They came up with that. That's it. Angels are holy messengers from God. They are directly created by God. Angels are created, generally speaking, only by the Almighty Himself. That's why they are the strongest. They are at the absolute top of the spiritual hierarchy. Pagan gods are literally just thought forms. Thought forms. That's it. I can create a freaking pagan god. I can literally create a pagan god called Ballsack. He can literally look like a ball sack. Seriously? My point is there's a lot of misinformation and there are a lot of fucking idiots out there that have no idea what the hell they're talking about. Plain and simple. If you listen to them, then honestly you deserve the drawbacks of listening to that stupidity. I mean, just this kind of shit's just offensive to me. Seriously, Odin and Kali having angels. Yeah, sure, why not? By that logic, dogs and cats can also have angels. No, I don't want to see the video in which he said all of this. I don't want to see shit. The fact alone that it brought me up already slightly agitates me. No offense to you. I know that you're just asking a question, but Griffith, I truly believe Kali is not created by Jehovah. Yeah, of course not. No pagan god is created by Father Almighty. Seriously? That's why they're called pagan gods, because they stem from pagan tribes, non-Christian tribes. Why do you think that all those pagan gods, they literally embody an aspect of life? God of thunder, God of love, God of sex, God of this, God of that. Because people that worship them, they needed a way to explain. Back then, they didn't know any better. I can't blame them. If we were from that time, we also would have done the same thing. We simply would have thought, oh, okay, so there has to be a spirit that's responsible for the moon, as in the moon is an actual god. So that's how moon gods came into existence. And they were like, okay, the moon is responsible for water and everything, so this god deals with it. In order to appease this in order to see to it that everything goes well and that our crops don't fail, we need to worship this god. We need to get on his good side. Don't bite the hand that feeds you. That's the logic they had, and I can't blame them. That's all. Azul Arcangelo says, I've personally seen abuse myself at the Masonic lodges during my childhood. Yeah. But again, keep everything I said in mind. What's important is that you heal from it and that the occult definitely helps with that, like there's no tomorrow, and that you are master of your own life, and that all the horrible stuff that happened to you, anything that happens to you, whether it be good or bad, does not define who you are. It doesn't make you who you are as an individual. You need to be in control. It's like someone that's an addict. When you're not addicted, you're in control of your impulses. But an addict is someone that's a slave to their impulses. What's important is that you're not a slave to your trauma, is that you conquer and overcome the trauma to the point where you're in control. Why are SB cases and egregore? Goldbeard says, are your egregore stronger than some pagan gods? Yes. My egregores are literally stronger than you could take 100 pagan gods, and my egregores wouldn't even doesn't even all of them combined don't even hold a candle. Okay, but again, it's not a black and white issue. Okay, um, it's not a black and white issue. With angels, there is no limit to their power in a matter of speaking. Okay, the limit only lies with the operator. With a pagan god, it's the same thing, but much lesser. Pagan gods do have limits, obviously, and but it's not all about power. And with my egregores, obviously, now they're divine egregores. They're not any kind of normal egregores. They're literally divine egregores. They have divine power, the same power that fuels me. So, you know, point taken, just what I said. But with pagan gods, any sorcerer worth his salt will immediately be able to tell the difference. You summon or work with an angel, and then you immediately do a pagan god afterward, and you'll see the difference. You're feeling the same presence, spiritual presence of a human being or a group of human beings. That's what you're feeling. Like I said, someone literally told me this. Okay, when I trained them, they told me, I said, I see what you mean. I see what you mean. With an angel, it's so intense. The power is so off the scale. With a pagan god, it feels mundane. It feels just like a human being's power. Exactly. Um, Nicolas says, how crazy was your ex's siblings? I'm sorry, what are you talking about? My ex's siblings. Silva says, question, what do you think about Hakati? I have a thingy on Hakati, Silva. I have an article on Hakati, so I'm not going to say anything. Um, hold on. Yeah, you're more than welcome to read the article and watch that video on Hakati. There you go. That's the article on her. Adam Mohammed says, Alamayo. Silfi says, do you think she's an egregore? Yes, of course she is. That's what I said. All pagan gods are egregores. They're simply hypercharged due to years of worship. Nicholas says, does God create demons? And when I say demon, I mean non-fallen ones. Yes. Yes. They're generally speaking. Yes, yes. Adrian Garcia, what about the IFA religion? Is that like a pagan religion too? Can you break that religion down briefly? What's LFA or IFA? Goldbeard, at this point, you're a saint. Seppo Epson, yes, hello Seppo, greetings Mr. Ravenberg. Any chance you make a video on delving the mind of Michael the Nostradamus, aka Nostradamus? In any case, have yourself a great day. Yeah, thanks. I'm not sure about that. I remember your recommendation. I kept it in mind, but again, I'm not really sure I want to delve into the mind of these kind of individuals as well as like holy figures, etc. It's just it seems too questionable. Not that there are any limits, but I personally have no interest in it, so I don't really want to do it. With Nostradamus, I don't know, maybe in the future. It wouldn't really matter to me. Azul says Saint Moreno. Goldbeard says in Banga if you want. Nicola says, when I say your ex, I mean Magnolia. Yeah, listen, I'm not going to make any statements about Magnolia. In the future, I might potentially do so, but other than the videos in which I've said everything that there was to say, for personal reasons, I for personal reasons, I I want to refrain from doing so. I have my reasons. So again, the subject of Magnolia is non-existent to me, as in I'm not going to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. Okay. If you see me doing it in the future again, then I will do so. But for now, at least I'm not going to talk about it. I have nothing to say on that subject regarding that subject. Um, Adrian Garcia says IFA or LFA is like Santeria. Oh yeah, let me copy and paste. What is IFA? Search Google for IFA. International Franchise Association. Oh, okay, I found it. IFA. with an apostrophe on the A. Ifa is the native knowledge and belief system of the Yoruba. The practice of Ifa predates historical records. Blah blah blah. Blah 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 blah. Divination. Uh, yeah, and I see. Yeah, it's like voodoo essentially. Yeah, it's an African religion, African witchcraft. Okay. Um, yeah, that's just it. There's nothing to say, Adrian Garcia. It's just witchcraft, African witchcraft, plain and simple. Goldbeard says, "Be right back in 20 minutes." Yeah, sure, no problem. What's Lucifer's story? YRSBK says, what's his name before becoming an inferno? His name was always Lucifer. Okay, names didn't change. Griffith says Archangel Halel was Lucifer's name, still is. No. Nicholas says, would you delve into Marilyn Monroe's mind? That would be interesting too. Towards what end? What purpose, really? Um, let me see. Yeah, so we're running at the hour mark. I'm almost like yeah, it's almost an hour, 56 minutes. I'm gonna close off the stream after an hour. I think that's enough. That's been the main things. That's been the main subject has been covered. No, that's okay. You can deliver. Thank you. So yeah. So anybody ask any remaining questions they have, and Nicholas Abdulhamid says, "Who killed her?" Yeah. What can I say? Yeah, I knew you were gonna ask that question, but that's okay. There's no real thingy, honestly. There's no real. It just doesn't interest me personally. Who killed Marilyn Monroe? It's not like some great mystery. So yeah, a couple of more minutes, like 3 more minutes to go. In any case, I'll think about Nostradamus, Seppo Epson. So like I said, anybody that has any remaining questions, go ahead. Or anything that you want to get off your chest, off your mind, anything you want to say, do, whatever. Okay. I'm simply calling a cab. I need to buy something at the store after I'm done with this live stream. That's it. I need to buy some vegetables because I am hungry. Or I'm slowly starting to get hungry, so I'm gonna cook something. Will you call phone? Order some pizza. No, I already had pizza. Yesterday? The day before yesterday? YRSBK says I have a lot of questions. Okay, go ahead. Ask your questions. Best spirits that can help with astral sight. Like I said, for any of those questions, consult my website and or my YouTube channel. Any questions? Those are basic questions. Adam says, can you use an analogy to describe or compare God's power to an archangel's own? No, you can't, honestly. No analogy is necessary. God is almighty. That's the definition of being omnipotent and almighty. You have infinite power. Okay. A messenger created by God, his power is limited, plain and simple. Sure, no problem. I'll accept shortly. Um, I tried calling a cab, but no one's picking up. Stupid fucking cab company. Oh wait, you could also delve into the person that betrayed Jesus. I don't really know his name. Judas Iscariot. Yeah, like I already said, unlikely. Can Lotraziel teach me how to mentally heal people like no other? Yeah, but David, in your specific case, no offense to you, I would strongly recommend that you heal yourself first, or you put in the work to heal yourself. After all, you need to be able to help yourself before you can help others. Whereas BK says it's using names of God, a good system for invocation. Like what kind of names? It's not really necessary because everything you're doing is by God's grace. So, yeah. Ah, man. Someone pick up the fucking phone. Do you know about the Cliff Art? Yes, obviously. Again, my website covers that. The tree of life and death. Sylphie says, if someone has Pluto square Saturn, can he still work with Saturn? Yes, yes. That has nothing to do with. You can work with any planet. Your planetary constellation has nothing to do with that. Only in exceptional situations. Should we use the fifth pinnacle of Mars? Is it recommended or too dangerous? Which pinnacle is the fifth one with Mars? Is that the one with the scorpion on it? Okay, let me know which one the fifth pinnacle of Mars is. But by default, working with any Martian pinnacles, it depends on the individual. But since it's Mars, yeah, you can you can expect, you know, some feathers to be ruffled and then some. So no, for the average person, yeah, it's way too dangerous. I wouldn't recommend it. Sylphy, what is the exception? The exception is the exception purely depends on from an individualistic perspective. An astrologer told me that Vedic astrology is superior to Western ones. Is that true in your opinion? Fuck no. Okay, that astrologer most likely was some dumbass Indian. No offense to Indians and their Vedic astrology, but no. Western astrology is much better and straightforward. But they're still quite similar, honestly. The names are simply different. The nodes are called Radu and Ketu. So North and South node are Radu and Ketu, and a couple of other changes. But Western astrology is more developed. When I first started with astrology, I looked into both of them, and Vedic didn't appeal to me. Vedic had too much like mantra Hindu nonsense attached to it. It was too impulsive and not really based in roots and logic and straightforwardness. Okay, but can you explain why Western is objectively better? I just said that Western literally deals with logic and reason. Western says this is what is the case, that's why it's the case, and this is the extent to which it's the case. End of story. Nothing up in the air as in, oh, it just is the way it is. Yes, that is it. No, no, no. Uh, why do people think Lucifer is Venus? How can a spirit be a planet? Again, because people are fucking stupid. There is no limit to human stupidity. Okay, that's why, like I said, that's why I don't take an interest in what others do because people are fucking stupid. Their stupidity offends me. So I, generally speaking, just ignore their sorry asses. Uh, More know why you're summoning towards one goal cost $1,500. Back then it was 1,200. I'm assuming that your rituals are more potent than last year. Yes. Any price increase you see on my website, that means that the quality of it has increased. So it's a lot stronger. The same way that I'm a lot stronger than I'm a lot stronger than, for example, last year, and it just goes on. But yeah, anybody that like seriously in detail or in depth follows me will be able to tell that yeah, now Moreno's gotten stronger, a lot stronger, especially with the Barbatos tattoo and whatnot. Uh, oh boy, fucking annoying cunt. Can't even fucking take me a cab. Find a good cab. Calling one last time, and then Griffith says, "LOL." Yeah, if I still can't find it, then they can go fuck themselves. Okay. So no cab then. Fine, so be it. Go fuck yourself. Um, yeah, yeah. So that's essentially it. Is Barbatos a friendly spirit? He's neutral. Neutral. He can be both good and bad. But yeah, generally speaking, he's cool. Oh yeah, you have gotten stronger. I remember. Why did you post the same comment twice? Remove one, please. You already posted it once. Oh yeah, you have gotten stronger. I remember watching you in January 2020, and I know you're much stronger than back then. Yeah, exactly. But you can tell based on my appearance and everything. that I'm a lot stronger if you compare me throughout the years. Since the beginning, 2017, 18, 19, 20, 2021, 2022, 2023. Griffith, what does snake represent in a dream? I had a dream of snakes, like a millions of them, and I was petting them like a pet, as LOL. David Bradshaw says LMAO. Ah. To me, anything, honestly. A snake can mean danger. A snake can mean a cautionary tale. A snake can mean wisdom, but wisdom that is potent in nature and has potentially negative consequences. You name it. YRSBK says, who is next in power after Yahweh? Theoretically, that would be Jesus. Adam Mohammed says, have you ever heard of someone working with the elemental king Paralda to achieve photographic memory? I think I heard he can bestow that. Yeah, listen, Paralda deals with air, the element air, and air as a whole deals with intellectual, all things of an intellectual nature. So, you know, that's essentially it. No, already well past 1. 1 p.m., 106. I invoked Paimon before. I think that's why I had a dream. Yeah, most likely. If you did that, then it most likely is a reference to Paimon. And it simply stands for Paimon, simply represented those snakes or his familiars, and you petting them simply stands for you seeking out the power that Paimon can bestow and the thingy he has. I don't think it's a coincidence since Paimon is lunar. It's also why Barbatos was represented by a snake. The only difference is that he was Paimon has roots in paganism, pagan god in nature, if I recall correctly. Barbatos is thingy. Barbatos is a fallen angel. They look really great, Karma. I love the work done. I might order more in the future. Um, my grandma has had visions of Jesus. Okay. So Jesus be worshipped. No. When you work with the spirit, you don't worship it. Worshipping is the wrong way to go about it. Otherwise, you're putting yourself at the mercy of said spirit. When you work with the spirit, it's like a relationship. You invest in the relationship, and obviously, you have expectations for getting things in return. Um, would you use the tropical or the draconic chart for the north node? By default, I use tropical. For every chart I cast, the default settings are for a natal chart. Let me see. Hold on. For a natal chart, it's damn it, open up. It's geocentric, tropical zodiac, Placidus, and that's it. For any horary chart, it is geocentric, tropical, regiomontanus. Those are the default settings. Those are the optimal settings. Um, so all Goetic demons were once angels that were kicked out. No, no, no. I clearly say that. I'm sorry. I don't think you're aware of this. Yeah, I have a lot of stuff that people do not know. I literally have a thingy called the Goetia Evaluated. I don't want to say a fucking article, damn it. Since 2018, with several videos embedded in it, in which I address a good deal of the spirits from the Goetia. A good deal of them are pagan gods. Baal, Aimon, Gramarye. They're pagan gods. Is Jesus personality? What do you mean? I heard Paimon was from the Order of Dominations. What? No. Paimon was a pagan god. He stems from a caravan god, if I recall correctly. That's why he has the appearance. Okay. Gramarye also has similar roots, like from the Middle East or North Africa. Belial is pagan god. No, no. Belial is a fallen angel. Okay, Belial used to belong to Potestates. Potestatis. Is draconic chart useful? I haven't worked enough with draconic charts. Honestly, I think, if I'm not mistaken, this is the first time. This is the first time I've ever heard of a draconic chart or a draconian chart. I don't know what it entails, but I don't really care. What is a spiritual pecking order? Angels on top and astro parasites on the bottom, right? Yes, yes, more or less. Uh, uh, Adam says, I have absolutely no idea how a perfectly beautiful creation as an angel can turn into a monstrous, ferocious, indescribable beast when they become fallen. I'm sorry, I think you already asked this question the last time, or you already made this statement. Why are you so caught up on stuff like this, really? I mean, what does it matter, for crying out loud? Who gives a rat's ass? They turn into a monstrous being, not literally a monstrous being, but it simply represents their nature. I mean, what's so hard to understand about that? Like I said, all of them, they have normal appearances in general, but they deliberately show that to you as a means of throwing you off. Like, I'm messing with you. If you're strong enough to the point where you can handle disappearance, and my rapport with you, my reputation with you, my bond with you is strong enough, then I'll show you my true form. And all of them have typical angelic looking appearances, as in, yeah, just look like the typical angel with a spear or a staff with beautiful robes, etc. Asiel is an example. When I first just worked and summoned Asiel, primarily for customers, Asiel purely appeared only as a lion. But later on, after like a year or something, he was like, okay, you've worked with me long enough. I trust you. You've gained my trust. I'm going to show you what I really look like. And boom, he showed me an angel with red thingy, with red clothes and whatnot. And I was like, okay, cool. So it really doesn't matter to me. Who gives a rat's ass? So yeah, I'm assuming that no one has any other questions. How did RCL help you? Read his article. Just go on my website and just look up RCL, and then you can read all about him. Demon Angel for arithmetics. I'm kind of lagging in my academic studies. I study a lot, but sometimes it's difficult. Yeah, listen, that has a root cause. Okay, if you study a lot, then you it's either a personality trait or something else, or you lack the discipline, etc., etc. You're not doing something right, or it's a personality trait or something like that. Did he bring more customers? RCL? No, I summoned him for workings of a customer. I didn't work directly with him for customers. I mean, for getting customers, for obtaining them. A customer wanted something of a solar nature, and I was like, RCO. Yeah, you're a good choice. Okay, done. Goldbeard says, is there any way to measure your karma? Yes, there is, but you need to be a sorcerer to accurately measure your karmic level. What do you think about the demiurge? I have no opinion on it, honestly. No opinion. Is Samael demiurge? If you mean dualistic, then yes, but again, that's already been said and done. Again, read Samael's article, watch his videos, and that's it. Um, I read, but you said you didn't want to say what he helped you in. Well, now I'm telling you, I summoned him for customers. Customer wanted something. I was like, Asiel, you seem like the best option. Let me confirm it. Yep, you're the best option in this specific customers. In this specific person's case, there you go. So I didn't work with Asiel personally that I can recall for my own personal objectives. What do you think about Sophia? What about Sophia? What do you mean? That's a Gnostic god. And what do you think about Sophia, the whole Gnostic system? Like I said, there is only one God, Almighty God, okay? The gnosis and everything, these are just different methods for connecting with God. Do you think God is both God and the devil because no one can oppose God? Yeah, obviously. The devil doesn't exist. I already have an article on the devil. I mean, really, you guys really need to just thoroughly go through my website until you have no more questions. No offense, really. But I literally have a video called The Devil Doesn't Exist and Does Making a Deal with the Devil Exist? Um, this is the article and the video. Hold on the second. Just go on my on my channel and look up the devil. Look up devil, and you'll find everything. That's the video on The Devil Doesn't Exist. If you don't mind me asking, what did the customer want? I can't remember anymore. But even so, I wouldn't share it with you. I'm not. I keep things regarding my customers discreet. Oh, will you invoke Moloch? No, already been there, done that. Again, check my sources online. All right, thanks. I'm going to play Vampire after this live stream. It's a really good game. It's about vampire and skulls. You mean skulls? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, anyways, I think that's enough. As always, thanks for stopping by, guys. And until next time. But have you ever known anyone to successfully achieve photographic memory via the occult? I'm going to answer this last question and then I'm going to go. No, not really. But then again, people aren't too keen on sharing information like that. Results speak for themselves. When will you visit Mexico, Cancun? I have no idea. You'll see it when you see it. Goodbye. Yeah, bye. Bye, everybody. Bye.